I work damn hard, okay, at this healing work. 10 years of this, 10 years of being vulnerable, 10 years of trying to figure it out. Forgiveness. My dad and I ate our first meals together when I was 25 years old. We had never eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich together. No ice cream, nothing, okay? And I'm able today to be in a much more healed space where we have a relationship. So, hey y'all, it's Jessica Gordon. You're here because your dad isn't or wasn't in your life, right? Maybe he was there, maybe he was in and out, but he wasn't consistent in your life. And the very first thing that I want to say to you is that you are worthy. You are valuable. You are loved. Someone being in your life is not a reflection of you. It is not a reflection of your worth. It is not a reflection of your value, my dear. You are worthy. And as someone who understands how that feels and had to overcome a lot of the feelings and abandonment that comes along with a parent not being in my life, I want you to know that it is possible to continue to work towards your healing. It is lifelong. I have been on this journey of seeking therapy, journaling, learning more about myself for 10 years now, 10 years. And I'm just in a space now where I feel confident to be able to help someone else, but I know how important it is. And the more I meet other young ladies, I'm like, God, I need to make sure that I give away what I've learned. Like, I have to. I work damn hard, okay, at this healing work. 10 years of this, 10 years of being vulnerable, 10 years of trying to figure it out. Forgiveness. As I mentioned, my dad and I ate our first meals together when I was 25 years old. We had never eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich together. No ice cream, nothing, okay? And I'm able today to be in a much more healed space where we have a relationship. He knows my children. They love him. They think of him. They want to call him. And that's growth and that's healing. Like I said, the work continues. So today I want to share 5 suggestions for you, okay? 5 different suggestions for you to helping you heal. And when you heal, it will help you guard your heart to make better and wiser decisions. So the very first thing, as we mentioned, was that you're worthy, you're valuable, and don't you ever forget it. And you're loved. And I share that because that was very hard for me. It was difficult for me to understand because I knew my dad was married and I knew that he was raising his other children. And so I did wonder what made this woman different from my mother, what made their relationship different where he wasn't there for me. What made him want to provide and send his children to private school and I'm in the hood barely making ends meet. You know, there were a lot of questions that came up. You know that abandonment shows up very differently for different people, just like any situation. So we all could be in the same room and we all would have different experiences. That's the same thing with a lack of a parent in your life. One young lady may want to be around guys all the time because she feels like, oh, I need to seek that attention. Whereas another young lady may say, I don't understand men. I don't want to be anywhere around them. I've never been around them. We know that everyone responds differently. But no matter how you respond or how you are and how you're feeling, there are still things to do to heal, because being ultra this way or uber this way is still impacting you, right? So after years, sis, okay, I'm talking years of dating men that were emotionally unavailable, or men that would be here today, gone for 2 weeks. I'm looking for them, calling them, checking in. They pop back up. Oh, my bad. What's up with you? Wanting to link, wanting to play games. Okay. I went through that cycle for years, sis. And it came to a point where a really good friend of mine was like, what you doing? You know, and I had to come to that point and I knew I had to heal to get out of that cycle. I didn't fully understand what I needed to do. I just knew I needed to do something different. You hear what I'm saying? So I'm going to share 5 things with you that I did to heal and grow. This is not in any exact order because you all, your healing journey is a journey. It is a marathon. It is not something that's going to happen overnight. It is absolutely something where you may feel like you healed from one thing and then something will trigger you. An example, I thought that I was completely healed. I had forgiven my dad. We ate our meal together. He apologized. I thought that I was ready to visit his home that he had lived in for 25 years. And I got there and my brother introduced me as his half sister, and baby, I was immediately triggered. And so I had to go back home and do my healing work because that's his perspective. I don't get to, yes, I can have feelings about it, but just like I had never spent time with him before, he had never spent time with me. So to him, I was a half sister and I had to be mature enough to understand that. But in the moment, baby, your girl was triggered. All right, let's jump right into the 5 things. And I have them written down because I wanted to make sure I touched on all of them because it is very important work. So number 1 on the list, you all, is go to therapy. Let me say it one more time. Go to therapy. And depending on how you were raised, you may or may not believe in going to therapy. You may think that it's a waste of time. I've had these conversations with young ladies in my family. They feel like they don't want somebody babying them, or they don't want somebody telling their business or telling their families. And these are younger girls, because I'm trying to get my young girls in therapy earlier. But go to therapy. Whatever stigma or whatever disattachment or disengagement that you may think around therapy, whatever you thought it was. Yes, if you are a Christian or have any type of faith and you want to go to church, you want to pray, I'm not downing that at all, because that is an important part of your faith. There's another piece where you may need someone that is licensed clinically to help you and ask questions that are going to get you to the space where you know yourself a little bit better. Learning my attachment style truly helped me from getting out of that cycle of dating men that were emotionally unavailable. And for me, which I don't know what it is for you, please feel free to drop in the comments and let me know. But for me, when I was dating emotionally unavailable men, I enjoyed it. It was almost like I kept doing it. It was like a thrill. It was like a chase. It was exhilarating almost. And I kept doing it, but then I would end up feeling empty when they weren't available when I truly needed something, right? So in that time period of going to therapy and learning my attachment style is when I finally was able to learn and speak out loud that I like emotionally unavailable men, because I held my dad on a pedestal of loving him no matter his flaws, no matter him ever being there for me. I still loved him, but he wasn't there for me. And so I equated that, sadly, you all, with love. But I didn't get it. I was just running this cycle. I didn't understand it. And it truly took for me understanding different attachment styles and figuring out what, and if you don't like profanity, I cuss, sorry, but to figure out what the fuck I was doing. Okay? It took understanding my attachment style to really sit back and reflect on myself about what I was doing. So I encourage you, number 1 is to go to therapy. You have to learn more about yourself, and you can do that through a licensed therapist, because they're going to ask you the right questions. They're going to be able to introduce you to things. If you can't afford therapy, then of course, I still recommend you doing it. So you may have to find somebody with a sliding scale. Therapy is number 1. All right. Number 2, gain the perspective that your parent is a human. Do you hear what I'm saying? Your parent, your dad that was not in your life or inconsistent in your life, is a human, or was a human if they've already passed on. This person, when I got of age and I was 25, I was 26, I was 27, y'all, and I'm 35 today. I was still making mistakes. And then I realized that my parents were the same age as I was when they had me. I was like, I ain't got this shit together. Let alone back in the day when they didn't even talk about their feelings. They didn't have parents that were open. Like, just, they weren't open, okay? They were not open. And so me considering that my dad is a human being who didn't have it all together, just like I don't have it all together, it allowed me to show him grace for his mistakes. Yeah, he fucked up. Yes, he missed out on an amazing daughter growing up, but it allowed me to show him so much grace, and it allowed me to be able to forgive. And I was one of those people who really didn't, like I said, I didn't understand it. I needed a therapist to break certain things down for me so that I would understand, because it's not like someone was using that type of lingo with me. In my household, you sweep it under the rug, you keep going, you go to church, you run that cycle back. You know what I'm saying? So number 2 is taking on or gaining the perspective that your absent parent or inconsistent parent is a human. Adults do not have it all together. This will help you remove your dad or whomever. It may be a mom for you, but if you listen to this video, it's most likely a dad. That dad, remove them from that parent pedestal. And we do it. I didn't eat a meal with this man, but still loved him. Like, you know, if someone were to say that out loud to me, I'd be like, what is wrong with that person? Like, why would you care about somebody? But as I watch my own children, the love that they have for me and my husband, oh my God. Baby, if they could move the world for us, like if I'm like, I need you to do something for me, baby, they got me. You hear me? And that's that same type of love that we carry for our parents, no matter how messed up they may be. That is the love that we show for them. So number 2 is absolutely realizing, because it's going to help you give them grace, it's going to help you forgive, is remembering that this absent parent is a human being that fucks up. And it may mean that they don't need to be in your life whatsoever. I'm not saying they need to be in your life just because you're going to show them some grace and you're going to forgive them. The forgiveness is for your heart, okay? I don't want you to think this is me telling you go run in their arms. That's not it. This ain't that. Number 3, ask yourself, who are the men in your life that have shown up for you? This one is so critical and may have to happen repeatedly. You know, like I told you, it's in no particular order. But as someone who was so, I'm one of those people that has a lot of pride and I like to figure things out. And some of that is due to my trauma. And so due to my trauma, I like to figure shit out. Like, I don't need your help. I'm good. No, I'm good. That's me all the time. If that is you and you can resonate with that, I want you to reflect. I want you to get out your pen and paper, pause this video if you need to, and truly consider, who are the men in your life that have shown up for you? Who are the men that haven't wanted anything from you sexual? Is it an uncle? Is it your grandfather? Is it a cousin? Who are those men that show up for you and you could very well be leaning on them more to gain the perspective or the fatherly figure love that you've been looking for? And I know that, so if you have any men in your life, reflect, because I ignored it. I had 2 uncles that were truly in my life and did lots of things for me. They had their own families, they had their own children. So it was not an everyday thing, which is important for children. So I'm not discrediting what you went through, because although my 2 uncles were in my life, because they were not able to be there every day, I still missed out on so many things. But I could have reached out more. I could have explained to them how I was feeling and what I was lacking, so that they could have helped me, teach me, help me guard my heart from some of these things and some of the mistakes that I made. But because I had a chip on my shoulder and I was hardened by those things, I ignored it. It was just like, oh, my daddy wasn't there. Oh, whatever. I don't need nobody. You know what I mean? And it's not that I mistreated them in any way. I just didn't tap into the love that they had shown me over the years. As I mentioned, not consistent. So it could just be someone who has their own family. But if there's a man or men in your life that have shown up for you and shown you love, I want you to reach out to them and truly sit with them. Figure out what it is that you need to help you be a better person. All right? That's number 3. And something comes to mind as I say that, because I know that if it wasn't for my 2 uncles, I wouldn't have had anyone. And if you're someone that has no men in your life whatsoever that treat you with fairness, respect, and love, baby, go watch you some, and I know he's been in trouble, but the TV show Not in Trouble. Go watch Bill Cosby. Go watch Carl Winslow on Family Matters. Go watch Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Any of these men, because if you don't know what a man is, it's going to be confusing for you to truly write down what you want. You probably know a whole lot about what you don't want, but you got to start tapping into what you do want. And so maybe go look at some father figures that were positive in our TV communities to help you, because I know that everyone does not have anyone, and so I just want to be able to give you an option. All right, that was number 3. Number 4, get clear on what it is that you desire. get clear. You got to get clear. Some of us do that through journaling. For me, I had to journal. I had to go on a 3-day silent retreat. Yes, baby, your girl went to a monastery where the monks were and the nuns. I went on a 3-day silent retreat. And then after that, I took myself a 7-day vacation. I went to Atlanta. I went to New Orleans alone. I journaled. I ate good. I drank. During the silent retreat, there's no phones, no computers. So I journaled. I went out into nature. I put my feet in the grass. And no social media, and I truly had to get centered with myself because I was tired of making the same mistakes you all. And there's gonna come a time when you get tired, but I'm sharing this with you because I don't even want you to get to that space. Because baby, I had shared so much with so many people that didn't even deserve a second of my time, and I don't want you wasting your time either. So I think it is so critical and so important for you to get quiet. The one that I went to was on a sliding scale as well. It was a monastery, so they will work with you as far as pay. It's not glamorous. Okay, it looked like almost like a dorm room that I was sleeping in, but I spent so much time outside. And I didn't talk for 3 days. I truly got centered with myself, and I had to be honest with myself. Like, do I want to be out here getting drunk every weekend, having a good time? Or do I truly want to be married with kids? Because I was saying that I want to be married with kids, but in my actions, I was out turning the fuck up. Which I still like to have a good time, but getting drunk, is that truly something I would be doing right now in front of my children? It's not. And so you have to get squared on and centered on who is it that you truly want to be? What is it that you truly want for your life? If it is marriage and kids, no, you cannot be out every weekend getting drunk, getting high, doing all these different things, sleeping with multiple different men. You can't. You can do whatever you want to do. However, depending on what you want, and if you want to walk in light, you want to walk in truth, I think it's important to get centered on what it is that you truly desire. And I knew that I wanted and desired a relationship. I knew I wanted a relationship. And so after that 10 days, 3 days at the silent retreat, 7 days in Atlanta and New Orleans, had a ball, ate so good, I was able to come back home. And the man that I had been dating, you all, at that time was emotionally unavailable. He liked me. Men, thank God, do not disrespect me. I'm so thankful that I have not had that problem. Now, if you got men disrespecting you, we having a different conversation later. That's for another video. But to a sense, they were disrespecting me because they were emotionally unavailable, so they were kind of dragging me along. But this particular man did tell me that he did not want a relationship, and I still was running behind his silly ass. And when I got back from that retreat, you all, I looked him square in his face and openly, I was scared because I was used to dating emotionally unavailable men, but I openly said out loud, do it afraid, and I said to him, I'm interested in a serious relationship that matures into marriage. It was so hard for me, y'all. I cannot stress getting clear on what you desire. And when I said that out loud, so scared, shaking, nervous, anxiety, ooh, can I say it? When I said it, he still tried to see me. Baby, my husband walked through that door 2 months later. 2 months. Now, of course, I can't guarantee what's going to happen for you, but the truth of speaking, like doing and getting clear on me, so worthwhile. Number 4 is get clear on what you desire. And you can't do that by looking through social media. You can't do that by seeing what your friend doing, what they doing on TikTok, what your mama used to do, what your grandma did. It ain't none of that. It is getting here and figuring out what it is that you want. Number 5. This is something that goes back to number 1 with therapy, but I think it's so important from what I learned in therapy. But number 5, address yourself as you would your sister, your best cousin, your best friend. Okay? A therapist said this to me. She was like, Jessica, if the way that I was mistreating myself due to not having a father and not guarding my heart appropriately and just the things that I was putting up with, she was like, what would you say if your best friend called you and told you the same story you just told me about the man that you dated? I was like, oh no, I would tell my best friend to run. She don't deserve that. She deserves the best. You are a queen. You are a goddess. And that's you. Address yourself. Treat yourself like you would your best friend. If you don't have any close women friends, treat yourself like you would treat me, okay? And you would not want me putting up with no mess, as I don't. And I don't want you putting up with no mess either. So address yourself as you would your cousin, your best friend, your loved ones, because that's it. That's it. That's how you gotta love on yourself, okay? Because your dad wasn't there, okay? He wasn't there. He wasn't there. My daddy wasn't there neither. But the love that we show for others, if we could show that same love to ourselves, baby, oh, the places you are going to go, all right? So my 5 tips, I'm gonna run back through them really quickly. 1, go to therapy today. 2, gain the perspective that your dad is a human. That don't mean he need to be in your life again, but he's a human. 3, ask yourself, who are the men in your life that have shown up for you? If there are some, love on them, spend time with them, learn from them. Ask for more from them. Ask for what you need from them. That's vulnerable. If you have no men in your life, I want you to turn on that TV and find some good standing men on television. 4, get clear on what you desire. If you want to be single, girl, you might be good. You might be. It just depends on what you want. Get clear on what you want. And lastly, number 5, address and treat yourself like you would your best friend, your sister, your cousin. So those are my 5 suggestions to helping you heal, which will in turn help you guard your heart. You will be more aware and alert to your triggers and your patterns. Having a dad is great. I'm sure it is. And now that my dad is active in my life and in my children's life, I'm grateful. I don't hold on to any ill feelings. And there may be something else that comes up that I may be triggered by, but that's why I tell you it's a marathon, it's a journey. But I welcome him into my home now. I love when my kids are happy to see him. And this is a really good space to be in. And I desire that for you, whatever that may look like. Your situation is not mine and mine is not yours. But the peace that I have, I believe it belongs to you as well. So I love to read, and I want to end the video. I want to read a short part of this book that has helped me, and this is Set Boundaries, Find Peace. It's a guide to reclaiming yourself. And so within this book, you got to read the whole thing. Like, it's so good. I got 2 copies, y'all. Like, I didn't know anything about boundaries, okay? But here's a reminder for adults who experience emotional neglect, physical neglect, but Nedra said emotional neglect in childhood. It was never your job to be the woman of the house. It was never your job to be a confidant for your parents. It was never your job to take care of your siblings. It was never your job to learn things without parental guidance. It was never your job to keep the peace within a chaotic home. It was never your job to figure things out without emotional support. It was never your job to be responsible for bills when you were a kid. I'll drop the link to her book. It's really like that, y'all. I just got emotional just reading that, because it wasn't our job to do some of those things that we had to do alone and figure out. But you're watching this video because you want more for yourself, and I believe in you. All right. If you're still here listening, then I know we are bonded, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, and drop me a comment below. I want to know what resonated with you today, and just love and light to you. There's more for you. Your life is worthy. Someone not being in your life does not dictate who you are. Love and light.